We have with us here Abdul Rahman Jawaheri, the General Manager of GPIC. Welcome to the forum and thank you for talking to us, Mr. Jawaheri.
Thank you.
What do you think is the impact of the global financial crisis on the fertilizer and petrochemical industries?
I believe that there has been an effect, there is no doubt. If it's not directly on our organizations, but there has been an effect on our customers. Today, with the current economic situation and financial situation, the credit availability to the farmers have been significantly limited. And therefore, although the demand on the fertilizer has not reduced, but the fact that the customers are not able to finance their purchases has affected, of course, this industry, and prices has come down. Therefore, I see that impact to be temporary, because people have to eat, farmers have to produce, and eventually the governments will support this significant part of the industry. There are other petrochemicals. The effects are to do with housing industry, with the car manufacturing, with the consumption of the people's normal life in consuming petrochemical products that today virtually goes in A to Z of everything that we do. Here, of course, the economic situation has impacted, but I will say that in this region, we will be the least impacted. From the onset, this region has seen a number of events, turmoils in the past, such as the Gulf War and others, and has seen oil prices as low as $8 and $10 only a few years ago. And therefore our organizations were adapted to meet these challenges that we faced in the past. And hence the current situation has not come as a total shock and disarray to us.
How important is an organization such as the GPCA for the industry in the region, especially at this point of time?
I think one only has to look at the attendance level at this forum today to realize the importance of this organization. This is the third annual forum that we have. We have, I believe, over 1,000 attendees, 1,000 attendees of the highest level you can get in the world. I think GPCA has succeeded in bringing together the professionals, the leaders of the chemical and petrochemical in this part of the world, to network with each other, to exchange ideas, to benefit from the experience of people who have been in this business for decades in the past, basically in the United States and in Europe, and bring them to an area which will be, by the virtue of the availability of the natural gas and the raw material in this region, the leaders in the chemical and petrochemical industry in the world.
How do you see the future of your company and the industry in the next 1 or 2 years?
1 or 2 years is a very short span of time for such industry. But I will say, what is the future of, if you don't mind to rephrase the question, what is the future of the petrochemical industry in the GCC countries in this part of the world, specifically and generally in the world? I will say the future is bright. There is no doubt that the future is bright. Why it's bright? Because there are people in this world, and as I said, if we take the fertilizer industry, as long as there are people on this planet, and as long as the numbers are growing, the demand for the fertilizer will grow, and the efficiency will grow, the technology will come into it. So there is no doubt of that part. The other petrochemicals, again, there will be high demand of it. The setback today, I see it as being temporary. It's a correction setback.
To interrupt, but how long do you think this downturn will last, especially in the petrochemical?
For the fertilizer industry, the downturn will be not more than 1 year and little bit more than that. As I said, because everybody will recognize that if they don't give attention to the fertilizer industry, there will be no food in a 6-month or 9 months time. And hence, urgent attention has to be given to that, because you have to provide food to people to ensure stability of the world political system. So therefore, there I categorize it as a short cycle that will come up in the next couple of years. In the petrochemical industry, it will take longer. I have no doubt that it will take longer, but again, it will come up. What is the key situation? Again, for this region, we possess 25% of the world natural gas reserve. We produce about 8 to 10% or less, depends on where you get the statistics from, of the world petrochemical products. So therefore, there is a mismatch between the production capacity and between the raw material available in this part of the world. And this corrections has to be corrected, this mismatch has to be corrected, and therefore I see that the petrochemical industry has to be developed further and grow further in this part of the world. To succeed, I believe that it is not the strongest of the organization that will survive. And it is not the most intelligent of the organizations that will survive. But it is the organization that are most responsive to change. And that is the key factor.
And in this context, by change, you mean volatility in prices of crude oil, or what other factors would you say?
Change, it means that being able to have an organization that is systemized, that has solid systems, that recognizes and can read the market ahead of time, that can change its strategies, that can adopt its cost of production in the best possible way to weather out, organizations that can control their expansions, control their investments, organizations that invest in human resources, so therefore have solid people within it to be able to carry and challenge. Today we are living, I think, a historic moment. I don't think anybody in this industry has experienced the level of change and the magnitude of change and the dynamism of change that we are experiencing today.
Mr. Jawaheri, can you share with us what GPIC is planning for its future and growth?
Yes, we do definitely have planned for expansions. We have just completed our GPIC Corporate Strategic Plan 2020, we call it, in line with our shareholders' 2020 plan. And with their support, we are studying now. We've been directed by our shareholders to study, and our board of directors to study a number of projects. Of course, one of the key criteria for GPIC's growth is availability of raw material. And Bahrain has relatively limited gas availability compared to our neighbors. However, the government of Bahrain, recognizing that, has embarked on an extremely ambitious projects in the oil and gas fields in order to be able to meet the need of the growth of industries like GPIC in Bahrain.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Jawaheri.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to at least share with you some of my thoughts. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.